It's time for another Dice Tower review with Z. Garcia.
Hey everybody, today I'm taking a look at a small deduction game called Small Detectives. In this one, in much like Clue and games of that kind, you have some information from the game that is missing, and all of the players are trying to find that information, get to it first, solve that problem, right, get that solution, and win the whole thing. It's a very quick, light little game. It's about 20 minutes or so. I'm going to show you how it works, how you manipulate everything, all the moving parts in the game, and then we'll come on back after that. I'll give you some final thoughts about this one and if I think it's a good one and who I think it might be good for. To set up the game, we're going to shuffle up the 4 tiles that show the suspects for the game. We're going to remove one of them, and we're going to do the same thing for the 4 murder weapons. We're going to remove one of them. That is the answer to our whodunit, okay? The 2 tiles that have been removed. We're going to shuffle up all of the other tiles, the other 6, shuffle them up, place them around the board like so, with the which includes the police station over here, and the pub across from that. And then you are mostly ready to begin. Everybody's going to have a pawn. You place it, depending where the setup tells you, depending on the number of players, in this case 4 players like this. And then we're going to shuffle up the cards and everybody gets 3 and you're ready to begin. The objective of the game is, of course, to figure out the person and the murder weapon that has been set aside over here. The rules tell you to put it under the police station tile like so, but I find that a little fiddly, so I'll just set them aside for now. Every round is going to go like this. You are going to pick a card from your hand. Everyone does this simultaneously, and then they are all revealed. And from the lowest number to the highest number, you do whatever the card says. Usually, it's some sort of movement on the board. Once everyone has done that, if you are standing on a house tile by yourself, you may look at it. You grab it, take a peek at it, put it back face down. If you are standing alone on the pub, you are going to get a special power out of that. I'll talk about that in just 1 second. And if you are standing at the police station, whether alone or not, and people will line up in order if more than one character arrives at the police station, well, then you get to try to solve the case. If you are correct, you are going to win. If you're incorrect, you are eliminated from the game. So, let's take a look at how this would work here. So I'm going to play a card here, and this player is going to play a card there, and we'll pick something for our good friend over here. And then we're going to pick one for this character here. Oh, where do they want to go? They'll play that one. How about that? And then they're all revealed. And we'll take a look at the numbers at the top of the cards there. The lowest number showing right now would be the number 2 right here, which says that player can move 1 space clockwise. They go there. The next lowest number is number 5 over here. This one says they move 1 backwards, so counterclockwise. I have the number 8, which is the next one, and it says 1, 2, or 3 in clockwise motion. Don't want to end up where this player is because neither one of us would get any info, so I'll go ahead and move 2. And then this player, the number 9, gets to go anywhere they want to. So they are going to go to this one over here. Once that's done, everybody is somewhere alone. They all get to peek at the tile they are standing on. So for example, for myself, I would do this and I would take a look at it. Ooh, okay, I know the answer does not include the handgun there. So I start eliminating possibilities. So I know it's not that. It's going to be one of the other 3 weapons that's been removed. If instead of this, I had ended up on this tile with red, then blue and purple will look at the respective tiles. Neither of these 2 players would take a look at that one, okay? And then once this is all done, the card you played, you pass it to the player to your left, like so. You put that back in your hand, and we pick a new card and continue going. The pub and the police station are the only 2 things I haven't really explained. The pub is quite simple. If you end up there, after everyone has done any of the house actions, then I get to pick, in this case, it is the suspect side of the pub that is showing. It's a double-sided tile with the characters and the weapons there. So if it's facing up with the characters, I'm going to take the stack of characters here. this shows all 4 possibilities. I'm going to pick 1, 2, or 3 of these, and I'm going to give them to someone else, and I'm asking them, have you seen all of this information? So let's say I pick just the one character, Amanda, here, and I'm going to give it to this player there. If that character has seen Amanda, they say yes, and they just give me this back. I shuffle it up. No one else knows anything. If they have not seen her, they simply say no. If I give them more than one tile, though, it's an all or nothing thing. So if they've seen Amanda, let's say, but not Jimmy, they just say no. And I don't know if that means they've seen neither, or maybe they saw one or the other. So you have to be careful. If you give them, a lot of information, all 3 tiles of information, then the no you might get back is not as decisive as a smaller pool of information. And after you've done this, then this is flipped over to the other side. And the next time someone goes there by themselves, then they're going to be asking about one of the weapons or several of the weapons instead of the characters. Lastly, the police station, if you go there, so let's say purple ended up there and then blue ended up there with a higher numbered card. They are going to grab these. They will pick what they think the solution is, 1 weapon, 1 character, and they'll check against the 2 that have been set aside. So they set these 2, they pick a peek at these, and they go, oh, yeah, I'm right. They win the game. If they're wrong, they're out. And if purple is wrong, then blue gets a shot at it. Okay? And so on until someone wins the game, or everyone has eliminated themselves but one player, which is very rare. So there you go. It was Amanda with the knife, by the way, because, that's what she does. So that's basically it. That is the game. Very simple, very straightforward. Try to figure out the set-aside information, the whodunit. If you do that first and correctly, you win the whole thing. So let me briefly run you through all the cards. Move 1 step clockwise. Same thing. Move 2 steps clockwise. Move 3 steps clockwise. Move 1 backwards. Jump across from where you are. This one lets you go directly to the pub. And some of these cards, by the way, would be removed with a certain number of players. So this is only in play if you're playing with 5 players. Otherwise, this card is not in play. This lets you move 1, 2, or 3. This one lets you go anywhere. This one lets you switch places with an adjacent character. This one lets you switch the tile underneath you with an adjacent character. It cannot be the police or the pub. This one lets you switch the tile across from you with the one you're standing on. This one lets you step out into the street in the center of the board. So you would be stepping onto here, meaning you don't block the tile. Someone could stand there and look at that tile. But if no one is standing on the tiles adjacent to you, on the tiles around you, you could peek at those. You might be able to get quite a bit of information from this one. And then this one lets you switch the cards that are sitting on the table, and it's going to allow you to basically pick the card that will be coming to you next by giving it to your opponent now, to the player to your right, and it'll slide over to the left to you. And then lastly, this one, which is called Priority up here, is actually the first one revealed. If you play this, you pick another player who has not yet revealed their card. No one else would have revealed their card yet, and if they, that turn, get to peek at something, then so do you. You get to look at that same thing. And that's it for the cards. All right, so there you go. Let's talk about it. I'm going to start with thematic ties here. I think the game has a really nice theme. I enjoy the detective aspect of it, this, sort of walking around all of these houses, questioning the people there, which is, what's being abstracted here. I think all that works, and it makes for an engaging but light-hearted, setting. And the way they dealt with that setting, I think, makes sense for the kind of game it is, how quick and simple it is, the audience it's probably targeting. I think the theme they went with, and the look of the game, which I'll talk about in a second, works. So kudos with that. The aesthetics, which also includes the quality of the components, I think is overall very well done. I love the look of the game. I think the characters are very distinct. The weapons are very distinct. I like the look of the board when it's all put together. That's very nice. It's beautiful to finally finish it, once you've removed the 2 tiles, and to have some of the players around the table, and this happened to me, go, ooh, okay, because it looks like a proper board game at that point. So I like that. And then the quality of the cards, of all the tokens, is very nice. It's all been dealt with care. The iconography is good as well, so that's great. The replayability and the scalability to a certain degree as well. The replayability here, I think, is somewhere in the middle, trending towards the lower end. It's the puzzle, what you are doing here is always the same. It's going to play out in pretty much the same way from game to game. If you find yourself enjoying this as a simple little filler game, then I think maybe you'll get a little bit more mileage than I'm giving it credit for. But it seems to be the kind of game that once it's sort of revealed its trick to you, you've played it several times and you get it. You sort of understand this card I should hang on to because I can play that later and make a great move. I should not pass this along. That's sort of those little moments of discovery are going to come early, and they are going to then run out. So I think the replayability, again, I think is somewhere in the middle, trending towards the lower end. The scalability is for the most part fine, but I definitely enjoy the game with more players. You're going to have more confrontation, but you have more chaos. You're going to have, more moments where, you ended up where I thought no one was going to be, and I'm there too, so we can look at the tile. But there's also just less predictability. You're going to have a harder time controlling the game. The game length is right on point. I think the game is like I said, 20 minutes. It's short. It's solidly in filler territory. And so for a deduction filler game, I don't think there's too many of those. This works, and I like that game length. The ease of play, which is fitliness, anything like that, any weird design choices. The only thing, as I showed you in the overview, that I don't do that they say to do is put those two tiles underneath the police station tile. I don't do that, but it doesn't matter. Everything else is very streamlined. As I said, the iconography is great. Turn structure is very simple. They have taken a lot of care here to make this game easy to teach to everyone, easy to play. The concepts even at play here are very straightforward. If anybody has played Clue, I can teach you this in, 4 minutes, and then we're off and playing. And a lot of people I did play with who were fans of Clue, or at least, remember from their childhoods, did play this and found it to be both nostalgic and an improvement of that in many ways. I think largely because it was faster, right? And lastly, I'm going to talk about tactics and strategy, and of course luck. The game certainly has a nice helping of luck. There's a lot of luck here. The tactics and strategy, there's a little bit of that in the pub tile where you go there and you can try to guess. You have to figure out, who do I ask, and who do I and what do I ask about. So there's a little bit of tactics there. There's certainly a dose of luck and memory rather in the game. So you will be expected to remember what you've already seen, so you don't end up going there and look at it and go, oh yeah, I knew that. If tiles switch, you probably don't want to remember that. So there is a memory element there. And that's okay, because it's such a short game. It is for that audience that wants something quick and simple and light and, yes, lucky. So that's it for my thoughts. I thought the game was clever. I'm not quite in the target audience for this, I think, but I've enjoyed it. And it's not one I'm going to keep replaying over and over and over again. But I could see myself playing this with fans of Clue who just enjoy the idea of Clue, but want something simpler and shorter, and they're not gaming snobs, so they don't care that it's a memory game, right? And I think that this works for that. It's firmly rooted. It has no identity crisis, is what I mean. This firmly knows what it is and what it wants to do, and it does that thing. So, yeah, I think this is successful. I'm going to give this one a seal of approval. I'm going to recommend it. It's attractive, neat, and for the right audience, I think this is going to be a hit. So check it out. That is Small Detectives.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.